What up, dude? Welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's Shemaya Curstill. On today's show, we discuss the latest Detroit Lions injury and roster updates. But do us a quick favor. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 2,500 subscribers, and we're just 5 away at 2495. Let me bring in my special guest today, man. Y'all know him. Y'all love him. I just seen him on Lions Talk Live. Is my man, Anthony. Oh, of course, I call him Jason Statham Jr. What's going on, my guy?
Hey, I'm doing good, thanks, Kurt. Hope you are well as well. As mentioned, it's we've had our first day of snow this year today, so I'm looking forward to getting out running around in that later. It's a rarity for us over here now, especially this early in the year. We never get any, so surprising, but means I don't have to go into work, which is tremendous.
Okay, that's cool. That's good. I mean, like I haven't seen snow, like real snow, in like some years, just because of the fact that I live in North Carolina now. We usually don't get a lot of snow down here. We maybe get a little frosting beginning of the year, but this time of year, no. Good morning in the chat, Michael Huck, my man. What's going on, my guy? Moon Scar Blade, good morning, my man. Salute to my man Brent DeWitt, fellow veteran. Hey, if you're new to this channel, man, and you don't know how our show works, we look at Detroit Lions news, headlines, or takes. If we agree, we say they are bossed up. If we disagree, we say they are bought on. And we give our reasons why we agree or disagree. For our live show, we do a little differently. I want you guys to put hashtag bossed up in the chat. If you agree, hashtag bought on. If you disagree, tell me why. We'll put it on the screen and talk about it together. No hot takes here, just natural debate. We just want to know about, as Lions fans, share our true thoughts and opinions about what's going on with our favorite team, the Detroit Lions. All right, I haven't talked to you since the game, man. What did you, for me, we did our show yesterday, and I was like, and I said the same thing after the Titans game. That's what a good team does to a bad team. So the Lions did exactly what they were supposed to do to the Jaguars on Sunday. A good team is supposed to beat a bad team, just beat the brakes off of them. And people could talk about, we need to be sportsmanship. Damn that. The guys get paid. They're in the NFL. If they want to stop them, they would stop them. If you're getting paid to do the same job as the other guy across from you in the NFL. I'm not a big thing about, you're running the score up. No, they just played their game. So, yeah. What do you think about the game on Sunday?
It was the complete game, pretty much. And you just dominate from start to finish. And like I say, that is what you do to bad teams. So the good thing, I did the video for Lions Nation Unite last week. Like, what are the 3 things you need? Because every team can beat you. How are they going to beat you on the day? And the 3 things there were, like, they've got to stop our run game. So for our interior offensive line, it was a big game because their linebackers are very good. They will tackle for days. They were on the field for 43 minutes the week before last, and they gave up 12 points. They didn't give up a touchdown. Like, you've got to get up to them at the second level, take them out your running game, and run the ball well. And they did. Like, there were so many runs up the middle for good, positive yardage. The linebackers were not making contact till 5, 6, 7 yards back, giving us good first downs on there. The other part is they're not good in coverage. So Jared Goff needs to take advantage of that matchup and dice them to bits. And you look through this here. So Aluakun, he gave up 4 receptions on 5 targets for 103 yards. You got him on the day. Ventrell Miller gave up 2 of 2. They only had 1 incompletion against the linebackers all day. We really exposed that middle part of the field. J-Mo did for his touchdown run. Amon-Ra 8 in the center of that field there. So you completely took that linebacking core out the game and you left the defensive line to fend for itself. And part 3 was, can your tackles hold up against their edges in pressure? And boy, did they. Like, they dominated them on the line of scrimmage. Trayvon got a little bit of action in there. Heinz Allen got a little bit of action in there, but for the most part, they were quiet. They did absolutely nothing. So the only ways they could have beaten us, we completely and utterly nullified that. And they had nothing after that. We just ate into the soft underbelly of that team. It's a young team, especially on defense, with not so many good veterans in there. There's a couple, but they're mainly on that edge. And when you take them out the game, that second, third line, there's not many good vets in there to rally the troops. And you just saw that. They were demoralized. They were demotivated. We planned the game plan to perfection. We nullified the only opportunities they had to beat us, and we comfortably beat them.
Yeah, I just think that's what good teams does to bad teams. I got to put a comment on the screen, man, because I wish Jim could have seen. He was watching RV Jackpot. He was watching down from heaven, man. Jim was watching that game, was smiling, man, probably up there breakdancing, man, because he knew, Jim and I had some a theory about this team. I say they're gonna be good when they get who they want instead of just what they want, and they've started getting who they want, and now they're just becoming they're a juggernaut. I mean, this team is beastly. It's one of those things where even with all the injuries there, and we're going to talk about this here in a second, but even with all the injuries to some key positions and key players, they're still just playing. I mean, we don't hear a whole bunch of whining. People, oh, they're missing this guy or they're missing that guy. The Lions are playing a guy without the Lions are missing some key guys too. Honestly, I think that the Lions are missing arguably probably the guy who would have been a defensive player of the year.
Yeah, it's like what it's like what the Patriots used to do, right? Like it felt like they could lose any given play outside of one or two key ones, like with us, Sewell, Goff, etc. But anyone outside of that, even some of the good ones, the next guy would stand up and they wouldn't miss a heartbeat. Why? Because they are so well trained in the fundamentals of the game and their role on the defense that you can bring them in and they can play well. Like Anzalone's out, right? You know, Malcolm Rodriguez, for the umpteenth time in his career, has come in and just balls his ass off and plays so well. Ben Neiman comes in, plays like he's been here for 5 years because he knows the scheme. He's fundamentally well trained, and you can bring them in, and it does negate the effects. Having these guys who can step up and take the load on while some guys are out injured, that is the hallmark of a great team. And it's something we've struggled. We've had great players over the years, right? But when they've gone down, there's never been anyone behind them, and the drop-off is massive. Whereas now, as a collective unit, we can put guys in here and still keep the high level of intensity up. It does feel like it used to be with that Pats side. I'm not necessarily worried about Anzalone being out injured. It's a blow, but I know we've still got a really damn good linebacking core behind him who can do their job until he's back.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into the topics for today. We're going to talk about Anzalone to the injured reserve. And then if he got activated yesterday, but it's only a short thing, he's going to go back to IR today. And then we're going to talk about the new Lion. But let me bring in our other guest for today's show, my man Easy from Woodward Sports. What's going on, Easy?
Good morning. What's up, guys?
All right, man. Good to have you on. You came on right at the great time because we're going to jump into the first topic of today. Anzalone, man, Lions place Alex Anzalone on injured reserve, man. And think about this. We were talking about the Lions, just the next man up. He's the third captain to go on injured reserve this year for the Lions, and they're still 9-1 because you had Aiden Hutchinson go on and Jalen Reeves-Maybin as well. However, the Lions haven't skipped a beat. Guess what? Even without some of the team leaders, they just go out and play. We know unless you're under a rock, you know Double A suffered that broken arm that will keep him out 6 to 8 weeks. His arm, I think it was caught a little bit of friendly fire because you look at it, Brian Branch was in there laying the wood as normal to a Jaguars ball carrier, and his arm kind of got caught in there on the way down. Just a fluke play, it happens. The defense will miss their best coverage linebacker. That's my thing with Alex Anzalone. He plays good against the run. Of course he does because he just flies around, but he's their best man coverage. And here's a little nugget, right? Because he can line up against tight ends. He can line up against running backs to keep them in check most of the part. But the Lions are the only NFL team this year that has not played a single down of dime coverage. They've always played nickel. So the most they've ever had on the field is 5 defensive back. They never played with 6 because of a guy like Alex Anzalone who can cover, like I said, tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. So, but Jack Campbell has played better in coverage this year. You got Malcolm Rodriguez. You just talked about an Ant. They will be the starting linebackers with Trevor Nowinski and kind of Ben Nee become kind of rotating into that Sam linebacker. It's going to be interesting to take that. Who's going to take control of that coverage linebacker role for the Detroit Lions? All right, so just I want you to let me know what your thoughts are, the impact of missing Alex Anzalone will be for the Lions. I'll let you go first, Easy.
I mean, it's just that it's the coverage, and for me specifically, the game I think we'll miss the most probably will be the Bills. That's a game we got a quarterback who can extend plays, which obviously a linebacker would help then too. But also, I think the two of the biggest weapons is Dalton Kincaid and Dalton Knox. I think utilize the tight ends. They don't have Stephon Diggs anymore, so they're kind of like utilizing their full repertoire. And as you said, he's one of the better coverage linebackers, not just on the Detroit Lions, but all of football. So it's unfortunate. I think a little bit of the leadership there too. I think a lot of people forget how young this team is, and Alex is only kind of just being that voice or just going through experiences, whether it's against certain players or certain scenarios. I remember just little weird stuff like growing up, like the knuckles turn white when linemen are rushing forward on a run play or whatnot, stuff like that. And it's, but the crazy thing is though, is like this team is so good and so singular focused that like, yeah, it sucks to lose Anzo, but I don't know that it will hurt too much from it. I don't know. What about you guys?
Yeah. It's just we just talked about it. Like it's just kind of next man up. I guess with the approach that Dan Campbell had and his staff has is like everyone's an important part of this team. Like even down to their practice squad guys, everyone's expected to play their role, and each guy is held to the same standard. So the standard doesn't drop off because a guy goes out on injury. The standard's the standard, and they hold those guys to that standard. Coaches, players, teammates, all those guys are held to the same standard, and they hold each other to the same standard. What you got, Ant-Man, on the loss of Alex Anzalone?
I mean, obviously, it'd be disingenuous to say it's not big for this team. He is like the leader of this team, and you'd rather have him in there. But I look at all the setbacks this team has had this year, and as we just mentioned about next man up and that, like we lost Derek Barnes, which was massive for this team, and then you see Trevor Nowaski come in as an interception, makes plays at the same position. He gets an opportunity, he steps up and makes it. Jalen Reeves-Maybin's not in there at the moment. You have Ben Neiman who comes in and sort of fills in that role, plays these depth, snaps, everything you need from him. You've had Malcolm, who for the billionth time has stepped up into this team, and he was one of the best defenders we had the other day. He's just so good. This feels like Campbell's opportunity now. Like we say, Anzalone's missing for his coverage and that, which he is. But like when Jack was drafted, everyone kept showing the play from the Ohio State game, etc. He was brought in to do it all eventually, and he's taking his time. He's getting there. He's playing better every single week. So you figure now he's going to be the guy. You've invested the first round pick in him. You've given lots of patience. You've trained him well. This is where he steps up and steps into that role now. And you've got plenty of guys who can step up with him and complement him. Like the most critical thing we have on this team, as we've already said, it's the run defense. Keeping teams at such a distance and taking them in such unfavorable situations minimizes the impact that you have on these linebackers having to work in coverage. They work in better situations. You give them more of an opportunity. So while we've got that stout run defense, issues like this will not be as big as they potentially could be. And hopefully we'll have them all back for the stretch as well. But I don't particularly worry, because I believe in these guys. I believe in Malcolm implicitly. I believe in Jack implicitly. I believe in Ben. This team, they will take a knock. They will just carry on going. They will not let it bring them down.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that this team, you look at he's very quietly having probably the best season of any linebacker on our roster is Jack Campbell. He's leading the team in tackles. I mean, he's flying all over the place. He's making plays in coverage. You just don't, but he's such a quiet assassin. Like he's the Terminator. Like he doesn't talk. He just goes and destroys. I mean, you look at the game versus the Seahawks, where probably the turning point of that game was his fumble. He caused that fumble against DK Metcalf, where that was a key pivotal point that kind of changed the tide into the Lions momentum. So I'm liking what Jack Campbell's doing right now. Hey, do us a favor, man. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video. All these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans like yourself. Thank you for joining and starting your morning off with us right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news rumors, man. Now we got to talk about a young fella, man, because I'm interested to see what you guys think about this topic right here, because I got a kind of a hot take on this one, man. It's kind of iffy, man. Iffy is second injury will send him back to the IR. I hate to see that for the young fella, man. He was activated yesterday for a 1-day stint on IR. The Lions had to do this to restart his clock to keep him off the season-ending injury reserve. Because if they would have just kept him and put him back on it, he wouldn't have the ability to come back if the line, when the Lions make the playoffs, he has the opportunity to come back because they restarted his IR clock. He suffered that a hand injury, doing that second stint when he was on IR. You look at that, man, it's just terrible to see that, especially in a contract year. Here's my take on this, man. I think if he doesn't come back, this may be the last time we see Ife Melifonwu in a Lions uniform. Why do you say that, Kurt? Guy's been injured so often. Same draft class as Levi Anzalone. However, then they've guys both spent multiple times on the injured list, but it was the same injury for Levi Anzalone. It was his back. And he had that spinal fusion surgery, and he's back, and he hasn't missed a beat this season. Well, Iffy, different thing. Multiple different injuries, a leg, thigh, ankle, Achilles. Now he's got a hand injury. So you look at what's going on with him, and it's a contract year. I hate to see that for that young fella in a contract year, because this is his last. He has an expiring contract. He just can't stay healthy. And I love Iffy. And I don't know if he gets the Emmanuel Mosley treatment because Emmanuel Mosley was a free agent. He came over, but it may be the last time we see Iffy in the Lions uniform, man, if he not able to come back. That's just me. I hate to say that, but if you look how Brian Branch is playing and Kirby Joseph, that they're the best safety tandem in the league. And he's kind of the odd man out right now, because he got switched to safety. So, and then before we get to you guys' thought on that, just real quick, Broderick Martin is likely to be activated today. His window expires today. If he took the active spot from Alex Anzalone, but he'll go back to IR today, so that open spot most likely will go to Broderick Martin. Because if he doesn't get activated today, he goes on the season-ending injury list. So, what do you guys think about my thoughts on this? May be the last time we see Iffy in a Lions uniform. What you got, Anthony?
I very respectfully disagree on this one. This team are not hypocrites when they come to their players and the treatment of their players. You cannot keep Emmanuel Mosley on this roster for 2 years with 2 torn ACLs, a torn pec, barely played for us, and they're still sticking with him, and then you just get rid of Iffy. Like, if he has played for us, if he's one of our draft picks, Levi, as you mentioned, he had a much more serious injury for where he's at, his position, his spine being a D lineman. Like, the odds of his coming back were always very slim. They stuck with him right till the very end, and that is paying dividends. They will do exactly the same with Iffy, and if they don't, I think that sends a very bad message out there that, guys are not getting preferential treatment, because you say we don't need him because we've got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, which is fine, but why do we need Emmanuel Mosley? I've got Terry and Arnold. I've got Carlton Davis. I've got Amit Robertson playing his ass off. Hell, Ernest Rakestraw can't even see the field right now, and he's my future there, and I want him to be able to play well at that position. I don't need Emmanuel Mosley, with due respect, but he's still here. They're still giving him the opportunity to be the player that they think he can be. So you have to extend that opportunity to Iffy as well. Like, it's not like he's tearing his ACLs. It's not like he's having injuries that could affect him for the rest of his career. They are injuries that are manageable and he can overcome. It's just very unfortunate that they got his clock up, and then it's a hand injury. Hand injury you can get back from, right? So, it's a shame for him, and it's a contract year. But now he's going to be in a position where it is his contract year. You can't exactly ask for a whole ton of money because, he's not played much in recent years. You're more than likely going to see him get a prove-it deal, go into camp, earn his roster spot, get on the spot for next year when he's fully healthy and show him what he can do, and then play for the prove-it deal next year and then get paid. And that's what the Lions should do. They never give up on their players. I don't think they're about to start with Iffy. And I just think it sends out the wrong message if they do.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, man. It doesn't work out. It doesn't work out for everyone. I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I don't say I disagree with you. I understand what you're saying, but All right, I'm gonna give my man easy. I'm gonna give you a full minute to talk about this right quick, man. I'm gonna go check on my little man, but I get you a full minute, brother.
For sure. I agree with you, but under a different sentiment. I think this may be the last time we see him, but I don't think it's due to injury per se. I think it's just due to what he's been able to produce on the field beforehand. And kind of as we mentioned, Manny Mosley, we have Terran Arnold, we have in his Registraw, we have Kendall Vildor, Dorsey, all these other cornerbacks that can play. I think Fonte Miller fine with us us with having Brian Branch, us with having Kirby Joseph. He may price himself out to where it's not worthy of us paying him the amount of money he's being offered elsewhere to be a reserve guy on this defense at the end of the day. Apologize. I know there's situations where you'd have Brian Branch back at nickel and if he has safety, in situations where you need both elite coverage guys out there. But I just think he outperformed his value for what he is in this team right now, and that's a backup. And I love Fonte Miller-Fon. I think he was tremendous last year. I think he showed if you can start him at any other organization. I think he showed that last year. The numbers, if you put that on a season-long stretch that he had when he started in last season, it's all pro-esque. And so I think it may be the last we see of Iffy, but not because of any injury. I think because he may outprice himself to what we can afford to what he'll be on our team. That's a backup.
Hey, I hear you, man. And I'm not saying he's not valuable. I like Iffy. I like the way he plays. I mean, the guy is a baller. I mean, he is. It is what it is. I'm just saying, like, I would hate it to end like this, but this team is getting better. So when you get better, and now you're like, can we afford to keep this guy? And we're going to keep having the same thing going on over and over with this guy, and it's different things. Maybe I'm not saying that I wish it upon him. I don't wish it upon him. I want him to be here, but he might price himself out. And it's just maybe a time where the team says, man, well, got to move on. But maybe not. So, but thank you guys for checking us out right here at the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for again debate about Detroit Lions newsroom. That's what we do. It's no hot takes, man. We just give our true thoughts and opinion. We all had 3 different takes on this one subject, and that's why I like to talk about this as Detroit Lions fans. All right, so last thing, gotta talk about the new fella on the block, man, David Long. Now, when I saw this guy get released by the Dolphins this year, I was pretty shocked. I'm like, did they just release David Long? I'm like, what the hell? Because the guy drafted out of West Virginia to the Tennessee Titans, man, and he was a good player at Tennessee. 6th round draft pick, kind of like another linebacker that's already on the roster. Who's that? 6th round is Malcolm Rodriguez, was a 6th round draft pick at linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Both guys kind of have that in common. But let's look at some of the stats for this guy, man, and see what we're getting out of a guy like David Montgomery. All right. So, I mean, David Long, sorry, actually. 2022 was his last season in Tennessee, because I told you he was drafted in 2019, right? That was his best season. In 12 games, he had 86 tackles, 2 interceptions, 5 passes defended, 7 tackles for a loss, and 3 quarterback hits. Then he got signed with the Miami Dolphins last season as a free agent. Had 113 tackles, along with 1 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, 1 sack, 9 tackles for loss, and 6 quarterback hits. Then for this year, he was, and that was in a good defense last year. He was voted team captain in 2024, but he was released mid-season. And the reason being, it wasn't nothing that he did. It wasn't like he was a cancer on his team. He didn't fit the scheme. They changed defensive coordinators, and it was just like he didn't fit what they were doing. And one thing you will get out of this guy, man, he's excellent in run defense. He plays downhill. He's super fast. In the past 2 seasons, PFF has rated this guy 89 and a 93.4 in run defense, man, per PFF. I think it may take him about a week or so to learn the defense, but I expect him to be elevated for the Bears game. I don't think he's going to play this week, against the Colts. It's just really don't need to have him play against the Colts. But you look at that Bears game where you're going to have a kind of a rejuvenated run game with Caleb Williams actually using his legs now. They're going to need that run support. So what do you guys think about the new fella on the block, David Long? Anybody? Take it.
So, I mean, obviously, for depth purposes, this is a guy who's played in the NFL a lot. He's very experienced, brings in some of that, experience that we lose with Anzalone. And you're right, guy who's good against the run. That's what we want to be. We want our front seven to be stout. It's always part of the modus operandi of it. So it's good to get him in and see what he is capable of. I'm with you. I don't, I'm not elevating him right away. I'm not sticking him in a starting spot. Like, he's done nothing to deserve reps over the guys who are in there currently. I think you have him there in place of another injury when one of your guys goes down. So it'll be interesting to see. But, like, he does have issues. Like, his missed tackle rate's 30% this year for a linebacker. He's had tackling issues his entire career. Like, our team is based on being fundamentally sound. Like, we used to pull our hair out, well, what hair it did have, about our ability to tackle guys, miss tackle in years gone by. It's been such a problem for us, and it's something that we have really cleaned up and eradicated recently. Like, we are top, so that needs to go. Some changes need to be made there so he's not making those issues down. But maybe if you're going to bring him in, like, he likes to blitz. It's what we had Derek for. Maybe we're going to have a guy who can come in and do that again because our pass rush needs help. Like, our pass rush is not good, and I have serious concerns about our pass rush, even coming out this Jacksonville game. So that's more where I want to see him. I know it'd be good against the run, but I do also want to see him come in and blitz and make plays in the backfield because that's still an Achilles heel for us. If he can come in and be part of that part of our defense, then that could be big for us going forward.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it too. I think he'll probably play a little bit more of Sam than anything else. Obviously, last year, Jack Campbell kind of started out in that will role. So I feel like he may fulfill that for Alex Anzalone. You're bringing this guy to be your Sam. Maybe Malcolm takes over in the middle. Either way, I mean, Kelvin Shepherd's done a fantastic job with his linebacking core. And beyond that, I don't even want to go and compliment Terrell Williams and that defensive line with opening and creating opportunities for these linebackers. If you guys ever played linebacker, that's the best friend you can have as a defensive lineman who's taking on blocks for you, So I think we saw in preseason. I think we've seen all this season. It's like no matter who's been in there at linebacker, they've still been able to be productive. It's just how long can this guy get with the system, get with the blitzes, the audibles, the cadence, the terminology, stuff like that. Not expect him to fulfill Alex Anzalone's role, just specifically because of the one weakness he has in his career, just looking at numbers. Yeah, and I hate to admit the PFF numbers one is coverage, and then that's what you're missing with Alex Anzalone. And Jack Campbell right now, currently the 11th best coverage linebacker in the NFL. He moves a will. This guy goes to Sam. Maybe Malcolm takes over in the middle. Malcolm in the middle, haha. But,
yeah, Malcolm in the middle. Yeah, I was that was a good line. But I look at him. Man, former starter. It's just you hate to see a situation like that for him. It's beneficial to us that we can get a guy who's been a perennial starter. And one thing, he played 4 years with Terrell Williams out in Tennessee, so it'd be easy to probably
he'd be familiar.
Implement him, familiar. And Calvin Shepherd, he's done a great job with this linebacker core. You look at some of the things, just two of the guys that we just talked about on the roster that people complained about was supposed to miss tackles. Anthony Rodrigo and Alex Anzalone were two of them. Guys were like, hey, we got to get this tackling thing tightened up. And those are two of the culprits, and they've tightened it up over the last couple of years. So I think Calvin Shepherd, we got the right coach to coach him up at the linebacker position. And I think he'll be an interesting placeholder until we can get those guys back down the stretch of the season, because there is a twinkle of hope that we can get Alex Anzalone back in 6 weeks, and maybe there's a twinkle of hope for Barnes, man. Maybe right before the playoffs start. So you're looking at it. I'm just saying. Hey, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, man. We're looking at the time, man. It is right at 8:30. Y'all know how we get in. We like dominoes on Tuesdays and Fridays here on the Bust Up Ball Out podcast, man. We 30 minutes or less. And it's always free, unless we got to start the membership here because special announcement, the channel is fully monetized now, so we're gonna have memberships, all that stuff going on. We've got fully monetized last night, man. So we have a store coming to you guys, so you can get some merch. Definitely gonna rock out with these the Boss Up Ball Out cats with that lion logo, man. So that Regal Lion, because we keep it royal up in this joint. But hey, Easy, my man, tell the people where they can find you and your content, man.
You guys catch me at Woodward Sports 5 to 7 on Woodward Heavyweights. Today, we may or may not be joined. If not joined, I'll at least be having some content coming out with Brian Branch, Taryn Arnold. They're doing an autograph signing out here at DC Sports. Make sure you guys stop by if you're in the area. But also on Lions Nation Night with Herman Moore, Chrissy, Spinney, Anthony, Kurt. You guys are all there, so that's how we kind of linked up with Kurt. I knew you for a minute. Yeah, I actually knew both of you guys before then. But we're at Lions Nation United as well.
Yeah, we're all you guys are all what do you call it, alumni of the Free for All Friday over on Lions on the Prowl. So that's how kind of met that DSA. But all right, Anthony, where they can find
tables used to get crazy.
Yeah, man. All right, Anthony, where they can find you and your content, man. And let me tell you, if you have Discord and you want to find out some Lions content, go check out Royal the Lions UK. Their Discord, man, it is off the chain. But what you got, Anthony?
Yeah, as Kurt said, you can find us at Roar of the Lions UK. We're a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond. We're live on Mondays, Wednesdays, I talk college ball, Thursdays, live during the games on Sundays. So just, pop in, say hi. We're quite happy to chat with you. We're actually live tonight. We've had to delay our thing this week, so we're talking the Jags game this evening. So, pop by, say hi, and, we'll chat along with you. But great to be with you, Kurt and Easy, as always. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. My man, Jason Statham Jr., he be out there signing autographs across the pond, man. I've never seen these guys, and I've never been to London or anything like that. I've never been to UK, but I would love to see, because I've never seen them in the same room. I've never seen Anthony or Jason Statham in the same room. I don't know if that's it's just coincidence. I don't know, but hey, thank you guys for starting your day with us right here.
What time is it over there
on the Boss Up podcast?
1:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, that ain't so bad.
1:30. Yeah, they have. Yeah, you got to decipher that half stuff with them. That stuff. But make sure you follow us on your favorite social media platforms. My man, Coach Jones, does a great job on Wolverine Sports Talk over there on his channel, man. I post content from this channel on all of my social media platforms, and my man LL gets down, especially on a Thursdays, man. So check out his Instagram page, man. You got to find a super secret one to get the real on him over there on his Instagram page, man. Do you, man, Kurt, still a favor, man? Have a great day at work. If you're having a good day, spread the joy to someone else. You never know when that small, kind word can go and help someone have a better day. If you're not having a good day, man, don't steal someone else's joy. And whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man, Anthony and Easy from Woodward Sports, this is Kurt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.